Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Mr. Brother Abaya from the DC Church, coming at you, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Shem Kadash. Salaki Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, by Shem meaning in the name, or call many Spirit, Kadash meaning the Holy. Alright, these are the names of the powers that have come to win in order to profess the 100% truth, and Lord's will seal the elect's faith. Shenya Kabbat, God will ever cause or claim now by Aith, meaning double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS in these times, whom the Heavenly Father had enlisted the 100% truth to. And of course, Shalom, Barakim, Labakar, and Shayasha Allah. Peace and blessings be upon the elect of the nation of Israel, to the men out there that's pushing this world, pushing this word. Hey, that's Satan. You know, pushing the word of Yahweh Shema Shai more primarily. In sincerity and truth to you, I say Shalom wa Barakah. Peace and blessings be upon you. Salaki, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. Nonetheless, to get right into the topic that was on my mind, you know, I was meditating on, was you know, the greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward. You know, they have a saying in the world where it goes high risk, high reward. You know, so if you bet a lot of money and you win, you're going to earn a lot of money. You know, if you put $1 million on the line and you end up winning, you're going to end up doubling your money, you know. So they say high risk, high reward. And that concept goes in a lot of things, you know, in our lives. But primarily for us, it's really high sacrifice, you know, high reward. So whenever we tend to sacrifice the things that are most vital to us, or really close to us, for lack of better terms, those things end up allowing us to then receive a higher reward and a higher pension and merit for having to sacrifice those things, right? Now I think about, primarily I always think about Yahweh Shai when I think of sacrifice. But there are other memorable names to mention when it pertains to the deed of sacrifice, all right? Because prior to Yahweh Shai Mashiach, we had our forefather Abraham, who had made a faithful sacrifice where he was going to sacrifice his son Isaac. But as you know, according to the precepts, he didn't have to sacrifice Isaac because the Heavenly Father had sent him a ram whose horn was stuck in the thicket, you know. But the fact of the matter is, after he was about to perform that deed, you seen the fruits that came afterward, where, you know, the Heavenly Father said, in multiplying I will multiply thee, you know, and he will be a man of a father of many nations, Abraham, you know, which he lives up to his name, he lives up to his status. As you can see, Isaac went down to Jacob, and Jacob went to the 12 tribes, all right? And we are now named after the multitude of, or I'll say the deed in which our forefathers had performed, you know? And Israel, his name was changed to Israel after he had wrestled with the angel to have received that name, okay? Which is Yashar. He is a prince, or he Prince Allah, power, all right? Prince of power. That's essentially who we are. That's the names that we live up to the best of our deeds. And that's essentially what's going to allow us to enter into the kingdom of heaven and receive the full extent of the name and the glorification that comes with that name. But nonetheless, if it wasn't for the sacrifices that our forefathers had made, we wouldn't be in the predicament and the circumstances in which we're in now. And I think about, you know, the sacrifices that we're making on a small scale. But 1%, when you have 1% and you have 100 people put in 1%, that's 100%. So although we're all making small incremental sacrifices, which are major in our own lives, obviously, you know, it all makes up for a greater cause and a greater good, okay? Because you got 144,000 men and a 1/3 of the nation of Israel that's out here sacrificing, you know, their livelihood, their freedom, and the things that are most vital to them in this world at this specific standing point, you know, to push forth the coming or the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven. Okay. Now, just to get more specific into what I mean by sacrificing, is giving up the things that you care for in this world and allowing it to just be, rectified or being vindicated by the Heavenly Father. Okay. And that a lot of times consists of you having to separate from relationships with family members, with a woman, and also with your children, which is a very difficult thing for us to do because we have attachments to those things, all right? But Yahushua told us, he said, with a servant, I think it was Peter, came up to him, he said, we have forsaken all, what shall we inherit? And he basically said, if you forsaken mother, father, so on and so forth, you shall receive 10 or 100-fold in the kingdom of heaven, in the kingdom of come. And I'm roughly paraphrasing. Obviously, I don't got the driving. I'm in transit right now, so I'm doing it to the best of my ability. Nonetheless, those sacrifices are very meaningful. Those sacrifices are very important. Okay, because those are the sacrifices in which we have to make in order for us to receive of the fruits of the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. Now, if you look at that, you can see that 144 right there, man. I probably gave my location away, but who gives a fuck, Anyway, the fact of the matter is, the greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward, all right? And I know brothers who have given up being able to see their children, or they're not able to see their children. And that's a great sacrifice. That's a hard sacrifice, because there are men in this world that would not have given that up, that would not have done those things, and would have folded and fallen to the world to try to scrape back the relationship, or try to do everything in their willpower to receive of something that the Heavenly Father has temporarily taken away from them. All right? It's hard. All right? Even within relationships, sometimes, we as men, we love our woman, and we love hard, man, because we're just like made in the image of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right? So we have compassion, and we share that same God complex with the things that we attach ourselves to, okay? Being a lord over something, it feels good, and also guiding that vessel in the proper way will also make you attached to it whenever you start to see the fruits of righteousness be breeded within that person or within that vessel, okay? But having to sacrifice it is really hard. And I think about, I don't know if brothers seen Avengers Endgame, or I think it might have been the one before that, where Thanos, prior to him getting the stones, the Infinity Stones, he had to sacrifice his own daughter. I just seen 144 again. He had to sacrifice his own daughter. But in the midst of him doing that, man, Thanos, he was crying. He was crying, dragging his daughter down to the tomb, in which he had to throw her down in order for him to get the Soul Stone. Be honest, it's kind of indicative of what we have to perform in the spirit in order for us to obtain righteousness at its highest capacity, And I was reading Sirach, the 1st chapter today, and it talked about something along the lines of that. There's wisdom is the most purest energy ever created, and we are able to tap into that via the sacrifices that we make in order to obtain the fruits of the spirit. But to make a long story short, and to kind of wrap this up, whenever you sacrifice something really great whether it be circumstances, whether it be opportunities, relationships, money, because I can have lost money behind, certain circumstances and what have you. But the fact of the matter is that Yahweh Shema Shai will always give us back tenfold. But whenever you sacrifice those things, you got to understand that the Heavenly Father will indeed grant you back that which you sacrificed, man, and 100-fold. But the greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward. And that's really the main point that I wanted to make within this video. I pray that you were edified through this epistle. I give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shema Shai, Shema Kokadash, and Yikabak, Abba Lava Kaza, Kling, Naba Aiko, Shalom, Wabarakum, Lava Karn, Shia Shala. Until next time, I say Shalom.